Hello everyone, it's me, Mr. 4K Upscaler again. Hopefully you guys enjoyed a little intro. I did it on purpose. This is The Last of Us PlayStation 4 Pro version, and we're gonna spend about 20 minutes trying to find a good calibration, my own custom picture settings calibration. As you all know, that's how I work, that's how I like to do things. This is TCL Roku TV 55-inch, model number it's 55P605. Anyway, let's jump right into it, and let's see what we can do with this HDR version of The Last of Us in native 4K. Alright, so here we are, and I don't even know if I'll have to do any calibrations to begin with. This looks fantastic. The calibration that I left here are the ones that I used for Horizon Zero Dawn. But we're going to go ahead. We're going to see what we can do here. Okay. Since this is an HDR game. There we go. I'm going to move it up a bit with that. Alright, so let me first make sure that the HDR is turned on. Let me go to the settings option, display, HDR, it's on. Okay. All right. So let's see. It seems to me that using the brighter mode and the dark HDR mode seems to be working pretty well here. Because remember, the whole idea is to have the contrast a little bit higher, that peak brightness a little bit higher, and then deep dark levels darker, along with the full array of local dimming. And that's why you see the deep dark levels presented nicely here. You see, these deep dark levels, they're not to the point where you cannot see them. You know what I'm saying? This is what I was talking about here. Let me take the camera off and then bring it closer to the TV. Here. For example, you see right there in the distance, it's not to the point where you cannot see it. You know, you can still see it. And that's what I'm implying when I talk about the deep dark levels. We all want the deep dark levels, but we don't want to crush our deep dark levels. They have to have a detail. You know, the darkness has to have a detail. All right.
Fireflies. Same thing's gonna happen to us if we don't get off the street.
You're the pro. I'm just following you.
I'm gonna move the camera a little bit away, like right here, so you guys can see it better. The HDR here is truly remarkable in this game, especially when there's like a sunrise and sunset. You definitely see it. But let's see what we can do in terms of settings here. Like I said, this seems to be working quite well. TV brightness on brighter, and picture mode HDR on dark. Now let's go to the advanced picture settings. Of course, local contrast, we always want that at high to get those local dimming zones to 73 zones. Backlit, as I had said this on my previous 3 videos, contrast, backlit, and brightness, you want to leave that alone. You want to leave it exactly like it is. It looks like a letter E, doesn't it? But that's what you want. And people asking me, well, don't you think you should move the brightness from 50? You don't want to do that, because here's a reason why. You already have deep dark levels to the right level, and you already got the peak brightness to a certain level. So why would you want to mess with the brightness? Why would you want to crush your deep dark levels? Leave the brightness at 50 and backlit at maximum and contrast to maximum, because this is an HDR. If this wasn't an HDR game, then I guess you could mess around with the brightness a little bit, but that's just my opinion. Remember, guys, it's all about the balance. When I calibrate these things, I look for a balance. Okay, what do I mean by the balance? I mean by balance is I don't want my deep dark levels to be crushed, right? I want them to be detailed. I want to see some detail on those shadows. Same thing with the bright whites, you know, bright peak brightness here. I want to be able to see that peak of sunset. Okay, I don't want it to be crushing my white balance. All right, so you want to get everything balanced. That's the idea here. So remember, never touch this. Leave this alone. Leave those three alone like that, and make sure you pause the video and write this stuff down. Sharpness, I really feel that I could maybe move sharpness to maybe a 10 here. Oof. Oh my goodness, it looks even better with 10. Oh yeah. Color 63 here is perfect, honestly. I wouldn't touch the color any more than 63 here. It's just the right amount. And sharpness at 10, it's just that right amount of outline detail that you want. Okay. Let me bring this back again. So make sure you write this stuff down. Okay. Make sure you write all of this down. This is very important. The sharpness at 10, color at 63, and color temperature at warm seems to be working to me the best. The reason you want to use the warm color, I did some research on it. If you use cool, or even if you use normal, there's still going to be that blue UV light. You know, I know the blue looks very you know, vivid, but it's gonna hurt your eyes, trust me. The warm, it's definitely the best way to go, because that blue UV light, it's gonna damage your retina, man. You don't want to do that. Don't be wearing glasses for the rest of your life. Okay. So you know, we all want to enjoy our technology, but at the same time we want to be careful and look after our health. All right, so use warm temperature. Okay, so make sure you write this stuff down. Make sure you pause the video, write it down. Also, don't forget to use TV brightness to the brighter and picture mode dark HDR. So dark HDR for the picture mode, and TV brightness to the brighter. And then of course here you want to make sure you have your local contrast to the high. Get your local dimming zones to all the zones to 73. And here, of course, backlit and contrast to maximum and brightness of 50. It's like a letter E, basically, is what it is. And here we are, native 4K, HDR 10, 60 Hertz. So let's do some gameplay here. Make sure you pause the video. Make sure when you're watching this, go back to the video, go back to the timeline, pause the video, and write this stuff down and try it out. Okay. This really looks fantastic. I mean, it really does. You see how much detail you see. You can even see the scars and the veins on his, and even the hairs you can see on it. That's how detailed it is. You can even see the what it says there, something about groceries, right? You see right here, right there. on that wall, something about groceries. You can see that detail as well. This is why, you know, if you balance your picture settings perfectly, you'll see detail that you haven't seen before. Like, I remember watching Prometheus and Alien Covenant, and I saw stuff in Prometheus that I didn't see previously because I didn't have my TV properly balanced. You know, I'm not against professional calibration equipment and software. I'm actually thinking about buying one of those. They are expensive, but I'm thinking about investing into that, getting into that, and see what I can do. However, your eyes also, if you have a really good eye, you know, and if, look, some people, it's in their DNA. They know how to play guitar. They know how to play piano. They know. Everybody has a certain gift, you know. I always had this gift of vivid eye. I can see things, and my eye usually will let my brain know, oh, wait a minute, we're getting too much outline of sharpness here. Let's reduce it. Or I'm getting too much of a color here that's being oversaturated. That's not right. That's not what I want to see. Let's get rid of that. So that's how basically I work, man. Because a lot of people have been asking me, since I've been doing this almost for a year now, how do you work, man? How do you do it? I was like, well, I try to analyze. Think of it like analyzing. Like, okay, you look at something and you analyze it. You're detecting it, you're analyzing it, you're scanning it. You know, the problem with some of these equipments is they have a certain standard. The software, the program that you get with that equipment, like a Calman, okay, that calibrating software has a certain standard that's built into it. And with that standard, you are kind of, you have to go by that standard. That standard that's in there doesn't know exactly what type of content you're watching. All right, it doesn't know. All it knows, what type of panel it is, what type of peak brightness it has, and what type of color gamut it has on there, and what type of white balance. But it doesn't know exactly what you are seeing. See, that's what I'm trying to tell you guys. You are the eye. You know exactly what's best. Just like when you see let's say when you're attracted to someone, you see that someone, and that you see something about that person. You're so attracted to that person, okay? The other person doesn't see that because that's not maybe his cup of tea or her cup of tea, but you see that and you're attracted to that. So it's the same thing with calibrations. I know it's kind of half-ass analogy, but that's basically what it is. Your eyes know the best. But however, you do have to have some knowledge, okay? You have to have some knowledge about... Here, let me bring my camera closer. Like this. What I'm trying to say, you do have to have some knowledge on the colors and oversaturation of the colors, the sharpness, outlines of the sharpness, how much of it do you need, the color temperature, how much of the color temperature would you need, what type of color temperature should you use on a certain content, and of course the peak brightness and the deep dark levels. It's all about the balance. You know, what you're basically doing when you're calibrating is you're looking for a balance. Okay, I don't want this to be bright. I want it to be natural, so you can see every detail on it. Okay, that's what you want. Remember I was telling you about that sign, groceries here? Well, you can read it now. It's right here. Here. Groceries, right here. You can read it here. See, that's if you had your deep dark levels crushed, and if you had your brightness to 30 or 28, then you wouldn't be able to see this. And if you had your colors oversaturated, you wouldn't be able to see this detail. That's what it's about, people. That's what I'm trying to show you here. And that's how I work. Okay? And you'll see all sorts of detail, you know? Like, look at his hair, the reflection on his hair and everything. Just look at that. I'm doing this purposely like this, you know, like in a slow motion. Just so you guys can get some idea of why it's important to have everything balanced. I mean, you can even see the detail here on the asphalt on the ground, as a matter of fact, as well too. I chosen this particular level because it's a great demo to show you why proper calibration is important. So there you have it. Okay, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to show you my picture calibration settings for this television. And make sure you write it down. Okay, I know that there's some of you that have this TV, and I remember I do this for you. I want you guys to try this out. Let me know what you think. Okay? And that's why I do these videos, you know. I don't do it for me because I know how to do this. I know how to make a good picture quality on a TV. All right? I've been messing around with the TV since I was a little kid, man. I was always adjusting things, looking at the colors and everything. I even went to the Art Institute of Fort Lauderdale. So I studied video production. But anyway, let me go ahead and let me show you these settings one more time. So here it is, really quick. Make sure you guys pause the video and grab a pen and pencil and write this stuff down. Remember, TV brightness on a brighter, leave it on a brighter. Picture mode, leave it on a dark HDR. Okay, so TV brightness brighter and picture mode dark HDR. Now let's go to the advanced picture settings. Local contrast, local dimming zones at high all the time. You want to hit all 73, I'm sorry. You want to hit all of the 73 local dimming zones, but you got to keep it at high. Okay, 73 local dimming zones. All right, and let me show you the rest of it. Make sure you pause the video. Here you go. Pause the video. I assume you paused the video. I assume you guys paused the video. Remember, backlit 100, contrast 100, brightness 50. So it's always going to be like this. You're never going to have to touch this. Leave it like this. 150, 100. 151, 0000. Okay, it's going to be like this. Like a letter E shaped. Sharpness for this particular game, I just felt 10. It's just perfect outline. Okay. Color, I felt 63. It's more than enough. Okay, just enough to make it balanced, and it is balanced here. It looks very balanced, so I left it at 63. Color temperature, I like to keep it at warm because that is what's honestly the best for your eyes for viewing. Honestly, that blue cold temperature is just too bluish. Has too much of that blue UV light. You don't want that. Keep it in warm. I know there's a normal one, but even with the normal, you still get a little bit of that blue UV light. So just keep it warm. And that's about it. So make sure you guys write this stuff down. Even I write this stuff down because, you know, I can't remember sometimes all of them. So hopefully you have the pencil and pen, pen, paper, pencil, and write this stuff down. So there you have it. Mr. 4K Upscaler, it's out. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you guys appreciate the little intro I did in the beginning. Take care. Have a good night. Later.